During the next half hour, we'll take you to Holy Name Cathedral for the ordination of 6 priests for the Archdiocese of Chicago. We'll revisit the Good Friday Walk for Peace and talk with Cardinal Cupich about anti-violence efforts in the city. And we'll show you the important work being done by the Archdiocese of Chicago's Immigration Ministry. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
The Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Hello, I'm Todd Williamson, Director of the Office for Divine Worship with the Archdiocese of Chicago. And joining me here in the studio is Cardinal Blase Cupich. Cardinal, it's good to see you.
Thanks, Todd. Good to be with you again.
Happy Easter to you. It's the first filming in the Easter season.
That's right. Happy Easter to you.
Thanks. Listen, just 2 days ago, speaking of great Easter celebrations, you ordained 6 men for the Archdiocese. I can't imagine that you preside over any ordination liturgy that doesn't somehow take you back to your own ordination.
Well, yes. In fact, it's means a long memory because it's 42 years since my ordination, and happened in 1975 in August on the 16th. And I was ordained in my home parish because there were 2 of us ordained that year, but I was studying in Rome, and the other man was ordained earlier in the year at the cathedral. And so I asked if it could be done in my home parish, where my grandparents were founders, all 4 of them. And this year we're going to be celebrating the 100th anniversary of that parish. So it's very meaningful for me to go back. Gosh. I'll be going back there for that celebration, the place where I was ordained.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Our ordinations take place at Holy Name Cathedral. Radio and TV office was there to get some clips, so let's take a look here.
Oh, great.
It hasn't quite set in yet, but it's beautiful. It's a sacrament that not many people get to see, so I'm just so happy to have so many of my family and friends here to witness this and be a part of it. So
it's still surreal, but just everything that it invokes is just, it leaves me in awe. It was just that great love that just pours forth every time I see someone that is in need of a blessing, in need of something, that few words. It's just a real joy. I think many men will tell you it's when you're nose to the marble, and that you have the whole church here on earth and in heaven praying and interceding for you, and that the Holy Spirit is being called down, that it may give you a portion of God's Spirit, is just unbelievable.
The litany of the Holy Spirit of the saints, the litany of the saints was very moving, and also the laying on of hands of all the presbyterate. I really felt like the part of the priestly family here. So that these were the 2 very important moments for me.
The ceremony was beautiful itself. The choir, the people, especially my family who are coming, my friends, important people in my that influence in my vocations. I'm looking to serve the people of God. I want to be available for people, for confessions, for Eucharistic, to talk to people, to really represent Christ in the earth.
I'm looking forward to being in the parish and serving people, and I'll be up in Waukegan. So I'm looking forward to serving all sorts of people that are in the jail, people in the school, kids in the school, parishioners, nursing homes. So going all over, and especially Waukegan, it's an area that has a lot of need, and so I'm excited to be able to serve there. There's high school, and so I'm looking forward to all the different invitations that I'll be receiving so that I can go and help out wherever there's a need.
My reaction is I'm speechless. This is amazing. It's all a gift from God, all a grace from God. I'm ecstatic. It is a long journey, but the grace is there, and when you trust and love the Sacred Heart of Jesus, you can do anything, and it's amazing.
It was a beautiful celebration, Cardinal. And in fact, what struck me was you began your homily to everyone, in particular to these men who were going to be ordained. You began your homily talking about the importance of the sacrament of reconciliation and penance. Why did you start that way?
Because the readings led me there. It was the scene of Jesus saying to the disciples after the resurrection that he was imparting to them the Spirit to forgive sins. So whenever I preach, I don't try to come in with a preconceived idea. I look at the readings, and that's where the readings led me.
It made me think of Paul. You are ambassadors for Christ, ambassadors for reconciliation.
Right.
And it was the way you developed that ministry throughout the homily that struck me so much in regard to these men who were going to be ordained. That all of it is about bringing peace, you said, to the flock.
Because the first impact of the resurrection on the disciples was to give them this power to forgive sins, but also for them to experience forgiveness themselves. So as I mentioned, one of the best experiences of the resurrection this side of eternity comes in the peace that is given in the sacrament of reconciliation.
Yeah. And peace was the very first gift of the risen Christ.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, as the one who ordains, is there a favorite part of this beautiful and ancient ritual? Is there a favorite part of it for you?
Well, I think that it's to see the look on the face of the newly ordained priest as I give them the chalice and the paten, and I call them by their first name but put Father in front of it, because it's the first time that they hear themselves called Father Radley, Father Miguel, and so on. So to look at their face at that moment in which they realize that it's real, I think is a cause of great joy.
It's a beautiful part of the liturgy, of the rite of ordination. Tell me, how were you thinking about Renew My Church at all during the days leading up to the ordination? Because one of the three pillars is vocations.
Right. It is. It's a very important priority for us as we move forward, knowing that the personnel issue is key to our success. Yes. So I always find that the ordinations make young people who are there to think about their own life, and it also is a strength to our seminarians who are present in full force as well. That is my hope, that we do that, and maybe too to inspire people to pray more fervently for vocations.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big part of our success.
And not just to pray, but even to foster them in their own parishes, right?
Right, and in their own families.
What would you say to the viewers in terms of how they can help?
I would say, first of all, let's start with the family. If a young man is thinking about priesthood, about going to the seminary, not to discourage him, because sometimes that does happen, but to encourage them. And secondly, for parishes, to keep their eyes out for individuals that they would think could make a good priest and pray for them, but also say something to them. Priests have a particular role in this. We did a study a number of years ago when I was the chair of the Committee for Vocations for the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, in which about 85% of the priests who are ordained say that they were asked by another priest to consider a vocation. However, only 1/3 of our priests are doing the asking. So we look for a way in which we can encourage our priests to be more demonstrative in talking to young men about a vocation.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of encouragement is important. And even in my own family, my parents always told us that we should not take off the table working for the church or having a vocation. So I had 2 brothers in the seminary one time as well. Right. And so it was very present in the home, but also in the parish. We had religious sisters there who, in the grade school, encourage vocations as well. So all in all, it was a whole community responsibility, which I think has to happen again today.
And so it needs to be here in the Archdiocese. It was a wonderful celebration.
Yes.
Thank you for your comments on that. I want to switch a little bit, because the last time that we filmed, this program. It was 2 days before a really phenomenal event. Good Friday,
Right.
Walk for Peace in the Inglewood neighborhood, one of the neighborhoods that experiences great violence in the city.
Right.
And we did the Stations of the Cross. Great turnout, great participation. In fact, our Office for Radio and Television was there, and we have this package to show.
Oh, great. Let's
take a
look at it.
On this Good Friday, Lord have mercy, you have come to remind us, the Catholic Church in Inglewood and all the people of goodwill in Cook and Lake counties, that when you walk with God, you never walk alone.
The first station, Jesus is condemned to death.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. January 1st, Maurice Delaney, age 38, male. January 1st, John Worship, age 39, male.
A march like this can bring change to the mindset of the people in the community here by having people to come together, working together, and to stop the violence, amongst one another. We are all one body of Christ. Everybody's unique, everybody's different, but we're all the same. We're all human beings.
Were you there when he fell again in pain? Were you there when he fell again in pain?
It's about people being saved and getting their lives together. It's so important. It's about these children. They out here on spring break, and we need to come together as a community. It's so important to save these children's lives, any nationality, any color. That's what matters. That's what matters.
Before my tour of duty, I pray and ask God to not only keep me safe, but to equip me with ideas, relationships, and resources that will allow me to help someone make it through another day and towards their future.
The ninth station, Jesus falls the third time. February 22nd, Jan Schupp, 31, male. February 22nd, DeVale Coleman, 24, male.
I think we always got to remember that our faith, like the scriptures say, without works is dead. So our faith ought to move us to action. Our faith ought to say, and I'm hoping people here to say, that are first coming from outside the neighborhood, to say, all right, what can I do next? And I'm hoping that we as a church provide them opportunities to come in and say, here are things you can do next. Here are ways to get involved. Here are ways to mentor. Here's a way to get involved in a food pantry, in a social service center, and with our young people.
The 12th station, Jesus dies on the cross. March 29th, Jerry Jacobs, age 37, male. March 30th, Patrice Calvin, age 26, female.
And so we want the world today to know that this is Chicago, that we are people who want to work together.
Cardinal, it was a beautiful day. It was a great turnout. What, a couple thousand people, would you say?
About that. They had 1,500, I heard.
Were you happy with it? Were you happy with the
event?
Yeah,
for the first time to have those numbers. Yeah. But the most compelling part of it to me was the fact that people of different faiths and backgrounds, different parts of the city came together. But also there were different witnesses that were given. One by a mother of a child who lost her life, another by a policeman who grew up in that neighborhood and still works there today, who felt as though this was an opportunity to share what was in his heart with people. And it was very compelling, very moving. The whole event went off very well.
Yeah. Heard also from emergency room responder.
Right.
Heard from a young 10-year-old boy. In fact, he spoke first.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard the whole of this, but at one point he got emotional.
Right.
You handed him your handkerchief.
Yes.
Did you know that later in the walk, he was walking next to a woman who herself got emotional?
Yes.
He handed her the handkerchief that...
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's what this walk was about, right?
Right, yeah.
Coming together, peace, helping one another, supporting one another.
Well, and I made a plea at the end to young people who are very much involved in creating a violent situation there to really consider that the peace that can happen when people work together is something they should strive for and not disturb. Young people have responsibility here, especially if they have access to weapons, to put those weapons down. And let's work together for a more peaceful environment. This business of retribution and ongoing cycle of violence is just hurting our city. And we need to look for a way in which they put down their weapons, and they also, we as a society, give them an opportunity for a future that's much brighter than the bleak one that they're offering.
It's an important initiative in the Archdiocese, the Anti-Violence Initiative, but also another important ministry in the Archdiocese continues to be immigration, right? And our Archdiocese has the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity. And recently, again, the Office for Television and Radio talked to a number of people involved in the immigration ministry of the Archdiocese. Let's take a look at that before we talk.
Great.
Pastoral Migratoria was developed using the methodology that's outlined in Aparecida, which is a document was written by who now is Pope Francis. This was 2007 when immigration reform failed, the legislation, and the immigrant community was totally in ashes. During that time, Aparecida appears to us, and we learned that we as immigrants or anybody could be responding our baptismal call to be engaged in our community.
What we are trying to do now is ensure that people are informed regarding their legal rights and their legal remedies. When we first saw deferred action for childhood arrivals, we did consultations for thousands of individuals, and of those individuals, 15% were eligible for more permanent forms of immigration relief. So I think it's really important at this time to try to alleviate the fears, is that people get good legal advice.
We are spiritual leaders, but as well, the people come for different help and advices, especially during this time, they need some advices with the legal issues, and we have at our parish, like example, my parish is a lot of people undocumented, and they have some fear, and we see that when we work together, when we got the advices from professionals that help us to share with our community, with our people, with our parishioners, and we can really help them.
Después de que salen con los círculos del círculo de paz, las personas salen.
When they leave the peace circle, people leave with an experience in their faith, knowing the parish, the church is with them, that they are not alone. They can come and ask questions. They can come and speak with agents of the Pastoral Migratoria to be able to confront any situation that may arise.
Working for the greater good has become very important for me, and also getting to know people and knowing that I can assist them, put their fears at ease if they have any questions or they need help with their paperwork, being able to help them in that way as well. We all work together as a team to try to provide legal or spiritual help whenever needed.
I hope that the Polish community can be working more with Latinos and other minorities here in Chicago. The platform that kind of unites us is the Catholic Church, and I'm glad that Catholic Church is going in the direction of social work. Immigration is a process that created this country and this nation, so we should be more inclusive. They should be more inclusive instead of kind of building barriers between immigrants and the rest of the society.
I mean, it's really important to me that we, treat people as we would like to be treated, as they should. Everybody, that's, I think, what draws me to the practice of immigration law, is that if we're talking about the undocumented, for the most part, we're talking about people who came here to make a better life for themselves and for their families. They're hardworking people, they're mothers like I am, and they're just trying to do better, and give opportunities that they don't believe existed in their home country.
Our role as priests is to shepherd people, is to accompany them, to walk with them, to listen to them, to pay attention to their needs. That's always been the job of priests, shepherds. So the issue itself, I mean, this happens to be a big issue now, but it doesn't matter what the issue is. And we always need to be attentive to what the people are feeling, what they're going through, with things that they need help, so that we can respond. I mean, that's the job of a pastor.
Bóg jest miłością I katolicki Kościół zawsze uczył.
God is love, and the Catholic Church always taught that we should be helping others like Jesus told us to do. He not only taught us how to love and who to love, but also how to take action. That's why I think the Catholic Church and the Catholic community should get involved and stand more broadly behind the immigrants.
We have to make sure that we respect the immigrants, the refugees, whether they're documented or not, who are here in this country. There are people who are trying to better their lives, escape poverty, escape violence sometimes, and they have contributed mightily to our state and to our nation. So I think it's very important for us to keep in mind that we are better off because we are an immigrant nation.
Cardinal, it is an important ministry. Recently, you were at a fundraising event for the immigration ministry, the Pastoral Migratoria. You spoke a little bit to the folks there. What did you say? What did you tell them?
Well, I reminded them, first of all, that something they already knew, namely that their work with the immigrant population and advocacy on their behalf was a real blessing to them, because immigrants are not a burden, but a blessing to our country and to our church. So it was an opportunity for me to encourage them even further, but also to ask them to work for comprehensive immigration reform. We have severe difficulties with policies that look at only either building walls or deporting people, when in fact we really do have a situation where a lot of those folks have been here for a long time. We have parents who have children who are citizens, and the parents don't have documents. And so where families are split up, this can't be good for the nation or for those families. So we need a comprehensive immigration reform. And I have pressed for that from the very beginning, as my brother bishops have. That's the only solution forward. We need, no doubt, national security to be at the forefront as an important issue. But we also have to have a process by which we treat people humanely, and we're respectful of our heritage as an immigrant nation.
Yeah. You say over and over that they bring gifts to our country, but you also bring it really close to home, because you talk to the folks of the Archdiocese, Catholics of the Archdiocese, and remind them that these people bring gifts to our church, to their parish.
They do. You look at the variety of cultures. We celebrate Mass in the Archdiocese in 26 different languages. And they bring their own culture, their own background. People often say that Chicago is the most American city. Well, I think it's the most Catholic city in terms of the Universal Church.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's yes. What the Universal Church looks like on a small scale.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. All of these powerful initiatives and ministries of the Archdiocese for very important reasons, as you say.
Right, yeah.
Cardinal, we're going to wrap up the show today.
It's gone so fast.
I know,
my gosh,
right? Exactly.
When we're having fun.
When a video package of all of the things that make the Archdiocese of Chicago a vibrant faith community.
Oh, good.
Al Castillo has this segment of Around the Archdiocese.
Students, faculty, and staff at Pope John Paul II Catholic School on Chicago's South Side take time out to pray for a peaceful summer. They are united in prayer this May afternoon with more than 200 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic schools in reciting the Prayer of St. Francis in hopes of reducing violence during the summer months. The Office of Catholic Schools announces that 18 teachers, administrators, and staff members from across its 217 schools are the 2017 Heart of the School Award winners. The award recognizes Catholic school employees for their outstanding contributions to the schools and the students they serve. The 2017 Crystal Awards are given to 6 retiring Catholic school principals this year to thank them for their years of dedication in providing students with a quality Catholic education. Those principals are Bonnie Brown of Prince of Peace School, Mary Jo Burns of Ascension School, Michelle Marecki of the Cardinal Bernardin Early Childhood Center, and Charles Terry from St. Vincent Ferrer School, all in Chicago. Also honored were Roy Rash of St. Francis de Sales in Lake Zurich and Susan Rise from St. Benedict School in Blue Island. Holy Name Cathedral placed to a full house in May as Cardinal Blase Cupich ordained 17 deacons during a Saturday morning Mass. The ordination of deacons this year includes both permanent and transitional deacons. The transitional diaconate is a step in becoming a priest. And more than 700 people attend Mass at the cathedral to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Chicago. Apostolic Nuncio Archbishop Christopher Pierre delivers the homily and extends the Pope's blessing. Catholic Charities has 150 programs for the needy in Cook and Lake counties and comes to the aid of one person every 30 seconds. I'm Al Castillo with a trip around the Archdiocese.
Cardinal, that last piece of the segment talked about the 100th anniversary of Catholic Charities. This whole show we've been talking about the good work that the Archdiocese does. You can't talk about that without talking about Catholic Charities, right?
As I've said, Catholic Charities helps the Church put its best foot forward. Yeah. And we do so much good through that program. We're the largest provider of social services in the state. Catholic Charities in Chicago is the largest in the United States. So to mark the 100 years and to have the Pope's personal representative, Archbishop Christophe Pierre here, was a real treat. He gave a beautiful homily, and one that encouraged people. And then he stayed afterwards in a reception to greet folks, and they were pleased by that. And so my congratulations to all the Catholic Charities for what they do.
Wonderful. Great comments on so many important things in this Easter season, coming in the last weeks. It's a pleasure to have you here and to be with you again. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate all your work.
Thank you. Thank you. To our viewers, thank you for watching. I'm Todd Williamson with Cardinal Blase Cupich. We'll see you again soon for more Catholic Chicago.
We invite you to watch segments of Catholic Chicago and hundreds of additional Catholic videos at youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter.